Hello, here is AlexM.Lok and this is the HardHarp. Today we talk about Lewis Spohr Fantasie Opus 35. This is one of the major works for harp, and normally you can hear that in every orchestra audition, the university examinations, or on the solo recitals. This work stays in between classical and romantic styles of music, representing them both, and that makes it really valuable, like actually other works by Lewis Spohr. This one is most famous among the others, and Lewis Spohr wrote at least 15 works for harp solo and harp and violin. How does it happen? Lewis Spohr got the work in Gotha, and there he met Georg Heinrich Beethoven, who was writing a lot for the harp, also playing many different instruments. And one of his students was a rising star, Dorothea Scheidler. Lewis Spohr had a connection to the harp because he was already learning the harp in his young ages. So he was very interested in the harp sound and personally in Dorothea. So since that time they were playing the concerts together, and because of that he was writing a lot of music. So you can find all the information in the internet, and actually I'm already telling too much because this is one of the homeworks, to look for the information in the internet, to find it and to see what are you playing about. First of all, the name of the piece is the Fantasie. So that means that we have quite a lot of freedom inside in the midst of interpretation. You can be very relaxed, you can play how you would like, I mean when it's not changing the tempo or changing the rhythm. Because normally I hear that this piece is not played very much a tempo, but not in a way of interpretation and artistic rubato, but in a way of just miscounting it. Normally, in such compositions, we are having trouble keeping everything together. It's collapsing, and that's what normally all the teachers say. So when you start, you should take your music and see that, okay, first two pages we have introduction, then it's the theme modulates, goes around, and then it brings us to the first bridge, and then the bridge brings us to the small middle part, which actually takes us back to the theme and the sub-theme, and then we go again to the bridge, which brings us suddenly to the beginning, and then it's the theme, and then it ends up the piece. So basically it's just, you know, like teleports, jumping around different parts of the piece. But in this case, all these parts should be very well articulated. That means that the first two pages should be together. And how we do that? We always keep the same rhythm and the same structure. When you start this composition, you should start counting the 30 seconds. That's quarter. 2, 1. We do everything on time, and then it sounds really epic. If you are having trouble jumping from that, you can do arpeggio in the right hand before you arrive with the left hand, and then the left hand comes second. The dynamic is very important here. We have a lot of forte, piano, forte, pianissimo, mezzo piano, and pianissimo, and so on, so on. So that we should do in the best way. Don't stay around this mezzo forte for this music. It's the same like death. For example, you start very quiet on the second line, and then you do crescendo. You keep that. And then this is the 64th. So of course you can do after there is another romantic trick. You start your left hand a little bit more, the accompaniment, and then you go under the right hand, under the melody. I remember that when I first time played that with 2 fingers, which I actually like, I was taking at that time lessons with Judy Pollock. She was in between Catherine Michel and Sarah O'Brien in the Zurich Academy of Art. And when she first time saw me playing with 2 fingers, she told me, "What a pig!" And I still remember that she was really in shock about this fingering, but it could work. And then the last, of course, you take third, second, and thumb. Such a thing is very important. When you have a trill from nowhere, then crescendo, and then diminuendo. Basically, that right hand is pianissimo. That's the maximum what you need. When you're playing these 2 notes, you can of course hold your thumb and the cello down there. For many times I see this finger. I don't understand why I should risk, because if my finger is too wet, I will just go too far. If it's too dry, I will not come to that. So it's not so difficult to play just 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. It's easy. Troubles, you can just stay on that place and just changing the fingers. 4, 1, 2, 1, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. Unfortunately, I cannot tell you how to make the trill in the left hand easier. It should be just played as it is. Lines. This is our first cadenza, so we can be really free. The theme should be just everywhere possible to sing. So when you just start playing that, sing together with what you are playing. Like you are going on the street or you met someone and you would say, like, you know that melody, and so on. You will not sing like ta 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 ta. Of course you will make the phrases, and that's what you need to do in your right hand. The left hand just making those stairs. Pom 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 pom. Those stairs are very important. another place where I see unnecessary sliding. Oh, please don't. Please don't, there are even written fingers. We come to the new phrases very, very gently. It's anyway romantic music, so prepare that. In many times I hear, well, we should really be careful because this music is very light. It's written by a husband to his wife with a lot of feelings. And they were traveling together, they were working together, they were raising kids together. So all this music has a lot of love and a lot of passion. So just please keep that, and then it will be as beautiful as possible. There are some spiccatos and etouffées in the left hand, so we should make less finger on the string and that legato. Yep. Another page and the new problems. Normally people are struggling with playing duals on triols, and I always say that it should be just independent. Don't try to count. It helps on the very first moment when you just took, you can you can count like this, but after that you should have your left hand independent, and the right hand has a lot of freedom. So altogether that will be you see, there is absolutely no connection between the right hand and the left hand, and that what would be in the romantic music just totally awesome. Well, I hope that it sounds awesome. If you don't like that, you write it in the comments. Then the left hand which normally is tired and it's too difficult. And of course it's difficult when we try to do like we try to play that, we try to really move all the hand, and basically that's it, just punching. We are punching the harp. Can we do like this quite long? Yeah, we're just punching the harp. We're doing really nothing. We're not pulling anything. And if you just add your thumb, you see, I'm not pulling. I'm just, punch, boom, like playing tennis. So. It's not so easy after that, because that it will be quite a long one and it's boring. First of all, it's difficult, and then it's also boring. So here I invented the trick. We still have our right hand, which is accompaniment, but in this particular place it could be also a melody. For example, you see, left comes in the end, just showing that it's still there. While we are still here, I would like also to say about the Vorschlags, those little notes. Normally we play them just but in this naturally romantic music it can be played really freely. here. It's also part of the melody. Don't think that it's just a small ornament. And now we come to the part which normally everybody hates. And this is these two middle bridges with arpeggios. And those arpeggios are just awesome. They are awesome because they have this forte, piano, and crescendo, and forte, piano, and then crescendo. You see how different it can be, and there is logical structure and always coming the new wave. You can also make the first time just mezzo forte, then fortissimo, and then you come to the allegretto. You see, there is no any beginning, just the end of the chord. Well, basically, this allegretto just makes that the same what we already had, and then we have reprise, just in different key, the same things, and you can make even more rubato or less rubato, depends on your own taste. And that's what is awesome about this composition. It's all based on your taste. You can do whatever you want. You can make here much more ritenuto, or here suddenly much more forte. You can change the structure, the main dynamic rules. If it's forte, it's forte. If it's pianissimo, it's pianissimo. There is just different aspects of those dynamic, and you can change the tempo. Second bridge, same rules. Same nice crescendo, and with the last passage we come bravely to the beginning of the composition. There are two parts which should be like a surprise for you and for the audience. The first one is when we are coming from the allegretto back to our sub-theme. You see, you hear everybody should be what is going on? And the same thing will be just later when we have the suddenly it's not leading where it was leading last time, and that should be a question, surprise in the air. What will happen? That's the composition, and you, of course, you are free to do also a big N. That will also work. So that's exactly means to play Fantasie. So the important point which we learned today, that our interpretation opens a lot of different doors, and there are a lot of new ideas, new emotions in the old music which everybody knows. But few things like the rhythm, tempo, and dynamic we cannot touch, but the all the universe around is for us. So good luck with learning this composition, and ask your questions in the comments so I can also adapt. And ask your questions in the comments so I can also answer them and find new ideas for you and for me as well. This video I do just for the harp world, and you can support me on the Patreon. The link is in the description. You can find different options there. You can find all my music and arrangements which I publish there. So just join and feel free to ask me any questions. Have a nice day and stay tuned.